I just purchased the Predator 3500 inverter generator from Harbor Freight. So we're gonna unbox it, set it up, and we'll test it out, see what it looks like, and I'll give you my honest review on it. So here she is. This is the Predator Super Quiet Inverter 3500 max starting watts, 3000 running. This supposedly will run for 11 hours on a full tank of gas. It's 56 decibels, so it's really quiet. It actually comes with the 30 amp RV adapter, which is really nice because it has a twist lock on the generator itself. It comes with wheels, it has an electric start, and it also has carbon monoxide shutdown. So let's get this unboxed and we'll set it up. Now this generator was $629 on sale at Harbor Freight. So it seems to be packaged really nicely. Looks like we have a funnel, a little tool kit. Here is our twist lock adapter for 30 amp twist lock to the 30 amp 3-prong on the RV. All right, let's get this out of the box. Now let's take a look at the control panel on here. So we have our 120 volt, 30 amp twist lock here. Here's our 30 amp breaker. It has a duplex receptacle with a 20 amp breaker. It has a DC 12 volt connection here with an 8 amp breaker. Low oil overload output. So nice little interactive screen, parallel outlets, but ESC throttle on and off. Here's our starter on and off. And then we have our run, restart, and choke settings. This is our carbon monoxide shutoff indicator here. So that I would assume that's lit up if we're having an issue. All right, now in the toolkit that they give you, it comes with this 12 volt adapter lead, and I assume you can charge a 12 volt battery with this. Obviously we have our twist lock adapter and funnel, and then in that tool bag it had this wrench here, and this is a spark plug wrench. You need the little T handle here, and it comes with a Phillips screwdriver and flathead all in one. Now before we get into starting this up and before we put fuel in it, we want to make sure we fill the engine oil. This does not come with engine oil, and there is an access panel on the side here that you can open up, twist this, and then it comes out. All right, now if we tip this up on its side, you will see this orange dipstick right here. And if you look at it, there's only oil right on the tip here. So we want the oil level to register at least midway here. You can see the H here for the high end. So that just confirms that there's no oil in here, and you want to use 10W30. Now, if you open your user manual, the very first page, the capacities are on here. So you'll see engine oil, type 10W30, 20 ounces. And if we look at our fuel, it holds 2.64 gallons. All right, so according to the manual, we need 10W30, and we're gonna be using Mobil 1 full synthetic. I like this, I use this on all of our vehicles. And we need 20 ounces, so quart, 32 ounces obviously. So we wanna make sure we empty this until we have about 12 left here. We'll actually stop a little bit before and we'll double check with the dipstick just to make sure that we're good. This is the oil fill funnel that came with the generator, and this is nice because it's angled and it allows you to fill this up without having to tip the generator up on its side. We'll stick our funnel in here, and you don't want to fill it too fast because you don't want it coming back at you. And just take your time filling it. We're down to our 12. This is 32 ounces. Do the math, that's 20 ounces. And it's a great idea to keep the remainder of this in your RV. Yeah, this thing probably is not gonna burn any oil, but you're supposed to check your oil level after every 8 hours of use. So we'll keep this in the RV, and if we need to top it off, we have it. All right, so I'm gonna put our fill plug in here. So let's pull the fill plug and check our level, see what we got here. All right, so we are full. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to remove the side panel. If you aren't interested, you just use your Phillips that came with it or any other Phillips. Loosen those screws, lift this little rubber piece up here, and just pull. And then there's two little pop pins on the inside right here and here, and then your cover comes right off. All right, so I'm gonna give you a better view now that we have the side cover off on checking the oil level. Now, this does have a little bit of residual oil in the bottom of the crankcase. So if you put a full 20 ounces in like I did, you're gonna have to drain it off a little bit. Unfortunately, when I pulled this out, I had some oil seeping out here, so I used like a medicine syringe and a piece of Tygon tubing to suck some of the oil out. If you look at the little crosshatch pattern there, you'll see that it's at like the third diamond from the top. Once we run the engine and the oil gets into all the places it needs to, we'll recheck the level again. All right, so to put the side cover on, you have these 3 tabs on the bottom, and there's 3 holes in the bottom of the body of this. We have a push pin right here, push pin right here. We'll get that in place. We'll lift this little rubber piece where the gas filler cap is. We'll tighten these screws down with our Phillips, and then we'll put our oil fill access door back on. Now we won't need to remove the side panel to check our oil level. After we've run this a little bit, we'll just pull this little access panel off. Now, while they recommend adding gas and fuel stabilizer in here, that is because a lot of people, they'll run the generator, you know, they'll buy this thing, they'll test it, everything looks good, and then they'll put it away in their shed or their garage until they actually need it. Since I'm gonna be actively using this camping, I'm probably not gonna put any fuel stabilizer in it because I anticipate burning through an entire tank of gas at least while I'm camping for a few days. But you can just use that stable brand stuff and mix it accordingly to whatever you're putting in here for gallons of fuel. One thing I did notice that they didn't talk about was the battery. Now, we're gonna pull this cover off here. This is the battery access. I'm interested to see if this is actually connected or not. So you have a pull tab here, you just pull down on it, and that comes right off, and you can just kind of shimmy the battery out a little bit. And yes, it's definitely not connected. Here are our battery terminals. So we'll get that connected now. These little nuts right here actually fit into the terminal on the battery. So definitely don't lose them. They slide out until you have the screw in there. And I actually recommend just temporarily threading the screw in here. I'll save these little things, so if we go to store it and I don't want to have the battery connected, I can actually protect the terminals. Obviously, red is positive. Battery terminal is colored red also, and it has the positive symbol molded into the case of the battery. Now, this battery does charge while the generator is running, so it should stay fresh. Okay, now we'll put our battery back inside here and get that hooked in there, just like that. Put our battery door back on and tighten that screw. Now, if you want to unlock the wheels on here, you have this little red thing here. You'll notice that it doesn't really push real easy or pull real easy. All you have to do is slide that over and push it down. Now it rolls. Now this is the fuel stabilizer that I normally use in my lawn equipment over the winter. So it's an ounce of this for 2.5 gallons. And inside, there's this little red piece here, fuel level, that lets you know when you're at your max fuel level. All right, there's my ounce of stabilizer. Put some fuel in now, and they recommend 87. All right, you can see we're up to our fuel level, and one quick tip I want to give you is don't press the nozzle of your gas can in here too far, because this little filter screen here will actually push down inside the tank. Now, to start the generator is really easy. If it's already warm, obviously you just put it in run. You can either use the pull cord on the side or use the starter, but if it's cold like it is in this case, we're gonna move it all the way down to start, choke. Now this ESC throttle, this is economy mode. You want this off. Now we're simply gonna hold the starter switch. And then once it's up and running, we'll switch it over to run. So the ESC throttle, this is energy saving control. So this, when it's off, just allows the generator to run at a standard RPM. When you have ESC on, that throttles the generator down until you have a low draw on there and allows it to save gas. Looking at our screen now, we have this little gray button here. You can see our output is 124 volts. That's how many amps are drawing. That's how many volt amps are drawing. And this looks like how many hours that the generator has run. Now, if you do have a low oil indication, that'll light up red on here. Same for an overload. This little red indicator on the top, that's your fuel level. Without having to open up this right here, this lets you know how much fuel you have left. Now I want to show you the sound level. And I'm at the back of the camper right now. Not too bad. That's with the exhaust facing away from me. So now we're in the camper, and it's actually underneath the seating area right here. This is one of the slide outs. You can definitely hear it, but it's not annoying, I would say. So to be able to use your 30 amp camper plug with this generator, they give you this twist lock adapter. We'll plug that in. Plug our camper in. We're not really drawing anything for power. So let's go inside and check things out. All right, so we're inside. I actually have my battery disconnected. As you can see, the microwave's on. And you can hear the generator actually sped up outside. All this other stuff works. Fan, let's turn the AC on. Definitely hear that kicked on. Let's go check out the load. Still got 122 volts. Now we're drawing 10 amps. 1235 volt amps. Fridge is on. I actually have it on auto, so it's running off the 120 volts coming in. And to prove that it's not running off the battery, just in case you were wondering, it's actually not even hooked up. Now, one thing I want to mention, if you don't normally use a generator when you're camping, you definitely want to invest in a carbon monoxide alarm to plug in your camper, and most likely have it nearest to where the generator is outside. The AC is running. Let's check our vents. I got ice cold air coming out of there. So we should be good to go if we have a site that doesn't have hookups. All in all, great little generator. We'll run this for a little bit and we'll check the oil level again. But I definitely recommend it for the price. It's pretty quiet. I mean, is it quieter than a Honda? Probably not, but great little generator you can get from Harbor Freight. $600-700. Sometimes you get lucky when it's on sale. Check it out. And I want to show you how to shut it off here. So it's real simple. You just want to make sure that you shed any load before you shut it off. So any items in the camper, turn it off, and then simply just switch it to off. All right, so now that it's ran for a little bit, we're going to check the oil level, and it does seem to be on that second and third dime. So really nice generator for the price, $600-700. You can get it on sale at Harbor Freight pretty often, comparable to a Honda 3200, which is around $2,000. So if you're on a tight budget and you're looking to get a generator for either your RV or your house, definitely check this out. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. See you in the next video.